Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're listening to Nisha and Caroline. We pop up onto your LinkedIn screen every day, 3 p.m. Melbourne time and 10:30 a.m. India time. And we come here with a purpose. And the purpose is very simple, is to provide hope and guidance and support and insights to the job seekers who are out there struggling. And we've been talking about these issues, these challenges for last 5 weeks now. This is our fifth consecutive week of doing LinkedIn Live, and we have, really it's heartwarming to receive such a support from every one of you who tunes in and ask questions and support us and spread the word about us. So please continue to support us because that's what drives us. We feel that we are doing an amazing work, provided if that is received the same way that we think. If you want us to talk about a particular topic that we haven't touched so far, please don't hesitate to write us. You can reach out to me or Caroline, or just drop a comment onto LinkedIn live feed, and we'll be more than happy to cover that. We I also want to acknowledge presence of a bit sadness, specifically with a lot of Indian community out there, that we have lost two stalwart of Indian cinema. One was Irfan Khan, that we lost him
Mhm.
yesterday, and today, just half an hour before, we found out that another, a legend of Indian cinema, Rishi Kapoor, is also passed away. It is an amazing sadness that collectively, people who watched, who grew up watching the cinema, might be going through. So my condolences and best wishes to everyone, to deal with this, because sometimes it does, when you watched their movies and you grew up, it does feel like personal loss to many of us. So I just wanted to let you know that there is a presence of sadness, at least in my family, where I am right now. But today is we are going to talk about a very interesting and a complete innovative topic. But before I do that, I'll welcome my co-conspirator Caroline Brown, and welcome, Caroline.
Call a co-conspirator. It makes me feel like we're up to no good, basically. Thanks, Naish. Good to be back. Today we've got Praful Vijay and Yana Martens, who may be joining us later. And one of the reasons that we wanted to have you on the show, Praful, is that you've developed this amazing video resume. And we were discussing it a while back about whether videos in general in the recruitment process are going to become more popular, just because LinkedIn's got the feature that you can record a video and people are putting videos up all the time. And I've always been a bit skeptical because I'm one of those people that's like, oh no, don't put a photo on a CV. But when I saw your video, I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. That could actually work, because your personality, your whole personality and the whole person and your sincerity comes through with that. So we wanted to have a chat with you around, why you did it, how you put it together, and how it's worked for you. So maybe if we could start perhaps with you telling people a bit about your background and then how you came to came up with the idea of doing a video resume.
Yeah. So thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Nisha. First of all, thank you for inviting me on the show, the Daily Show. I've been watching you guys since a long time, and now really glad to be part of it. My background is that I'm a civil engineer. I studied Bachelor's of Technology in New Delhi, India. After that, I moved to Germany for masters. I did my thesis, the master thesis part of the masters in Melbourne. Then went back to Germany, worked there for 1 year in the research industry, and then applied for a permanent residency here in Australia and moved here last year. When I got the permanent residency and I was making up my mind to move from Germany to Australia, I already started applying for jobs. Step one, Google, how do you find a job in Australia? And then search results show up, seek.com, indeed.com. I just started applying. That time, I did not have a clue about what Nishant likes to call hidden job market, or getting a job through LinkedIn or referencing. Or my LinkedIn had barely 200 connections back at that time. When I was in the flight from Germany to India, I took a short break. I was thinking, yeah, I need to do something because I'm applying for jobs, but I'm not getting interviews or even the first round or even sometimes responses at all. And that's where I turned to my hobbies. I'm a semi-professional photographer, videographer, actor, and a few other forms of arts. That's something I've been following for some time. And I just thought about, hey, actually, there's a YouTube channel called Vox. They are independent freelance journalists out there. And one of them was talking about his life and how he became a journalist because he had a video resume, got into Vox and things like that. So from there, I drew the inspiration. If a journalist can do that, if people who are involved in mass communications can do that, why can't engineers do it? Because as an engineer, we have to communicate with all sorts of people all the time. Because project management was the field of engineering which I was looking forward to when I start my job. So I just thought, hey, okay, let's do a video resume. And then I have my photography mentor back in India. His name is Yashit, who helped me a lot in filming this video. I just spoke to him, hey, can we do something? I had 1 week before I took the flight from India to Australia. And then just wrote a script in 2 days, got in touch with friends who are expert, who have better than English than mine. Just wrote the script and shot it. Came to Australia, then dealt for 1 month with the basic challenges of finding a place, this and that. And then, okay, I have a video I need to edit. I did my market research. By that time, I started knowing a few people in India, recruiters, engineers are working here, and just did a casual conversation. Hey, I'm thinking about making a video resume. What do you think? And most of them told me that it's a waste of time. Some people were that open. Just don't do it. Why you want to do it?
Man.
Exactly. We live in a world where it's said that recruiters look at your paper CV for 3 seconds, for 5 seconds. Why would they spend minutes watching me talking about myself? But then I just ignored that. I decided to follow my gut feeling because that's how I've been. I mean, if I am up for if I have some values, I just do it. No second thoughts on that. So I did that. And normally after every video, because I've been professionally developing videos, I ask around for criticism. Hey, could I change something, this and that? But in this video, I was like, hey, no one was really supportive when I wanted to make one. So if I made one, either I just publish it or just not care at all. So I just put it up on LinkedIn overnight and just slept in the morning, waking up to realize that 1,000 views in one day. I
Wow.
was like, my God. I moved to a new country. I did not have a lot of friends or any social circle to be around. And then suddenly getting so much attention on a platform I'm not even expecting. So I got finally, till the day I was keeping count, I got 11,000 views in 11 days.
Wow.
uh, a lot of comments, a lot of reshares, and a really good experience reaching out to people, making connections, and having a LinkedIn profile where I have recruiters, where I have potential future colleagues, and a lot of different people. Yeah, so that was the idea. I wanted to stand out. I
Yeah.
wanted to, because when I was researching about how you get job in Australia, it was often said that in Australia they don't just think about your degree. They need to, as you mentioned before, the overall package. So if I tell someone that hey, I've been a traveler, hey, I've been this, I do that, it's a direct communication, and I directly, before even meeting the person, telling them that who exactly I am, which might make them better, which will help them to judge me better. Just straight like that.
It's funny because hi Yana, sorry. Feel
I
like
am.
you're
Hello, I'm making it interruptive, I'm just a pea in the middle.
So Yana's a video coach, but yeah. So did you just put it up on LinkedIn and then you got all of those views, or did you promote it over LinkedIn as well? Or?
Oh no! Just put it up and use the
Yeah.
hashtag job seeker, hashtag video
Yeah.
resume. That's it.
Oh wow, that's
That's it.
fantastic.
Yeah. And I've got
And
views from US, from India, from China.
yeah,
It's a global platform, and my focus was Australian market, but then the exposure was so wide over LinkedIn, which was overwhelming.
yeah. And did those people that were kind of skeptical end up giving you support, or did you just sort of ignore them?
Uh, well, that's where there is a gray area. I mean, I don't want to say the word double standard, but like I'm getting appreciation, I'm getting followers, I'm getting views, I'm getting connection requests, but I'm not getting a job.
Yeah.
So I was convinced something is still missing, or what? And then I spoke to a few people. I was looking for criticism that, hey, I've done this, but still it's not working out. I got a job offer from US. I got a job offer from China. I got a job offer from India, but not in
Not
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so something was missing there, and let's come to that later once everyone is Yana,
Yeah,
perhaps.
that's really interesting. Maybe it's a bit of a tall poppy syndrome. I'm not sure, but yeah. Were they related? Just related job opportunities? Were there things that if
Yes,
you would have?
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
That's really
one
interesting.
of them was academic job because I've had 1 year of research experience in a university in Germany where I studied masters. So one of the Chinese universities offered me something, but that's something which I was not interested in. I wanted to work on research. I've done research on the topic 3D printing, and now I want to bring it to the industry. And Australia is one of the rare developed country job market industry which has still not done, which is still lagging behind in this particular technology of 3D printing. So that's where I'm focusing right now, applying through jobs in the companies where I see potential in that technology being developed.
Yeah. So have you used it have you used it as part of your application as well, or is it
Yeah,
just sort of sitting? Yeah. What sort
yeah.
of reaction have you got when you've shown the video, or people have seen, like when recruiters have seen the video in Australia?
Well, the answer to that depends on the kind of company. So, according to my experiences, I divide. Well, tier one companies, the people who really care about the overall personality of the employee,
Yeah.
they have seen my video and they have really appreciated it. But then, because I am a graduate, and the best chance I have getting in that company is through the graduate programs, which is a very strict step-by-step process.
Yeah.
So that's where I don't get. Actually, I think so that I don't get the advantage as I could have got given I was not an entry level job seeker.
Yeah.
And in tier two, probably, but for tier three, I'm definitely sure these are the kind of guys who look for someone who can do the job.
Yeah.
They've been
Okay.
doing something for last 10 years and they will be expert and keep doing it for the next 10 years. Uh, that's something where I don't see the scope of my profile being appreciated because I want to do something different. So tier one companies are my target, and that's where the recruiters did. Some of them who did watch replied, responded, but then couldn't actually officially give me a step up because of the process,
Yeah.
which is all logical, which is of definitely not an issue.
And you don't know when people are viewing it as well. So you might be applying for a job, and at some point somebody might see that video and go, okay, there is something that, we can connect and relate to you as a person because we've seen more of you as the person as well. So yeah, I think it's something that has a legacy on your profile, I think. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's right now it lies in the header of my cover letter and
Yeah.
resume.
You can't miss it. Oh, on your profile, you can't miss it. But your profile looks fantastic anyway. So,
Thanks.
yeah. Yana, what do you think about what people, you're a video coach. So what makes a good visual in a video resume? Or what do you think people should focus on in putting, the content in those?
So from my point, obviously, I can't really look at the video resume as a recruiter because I don't have any experience in recruiting or job seeking. But what I would say, the thing is with any video and especially with videos online, every video have a different purpose. And I guess every time you're creating any video, even if it's a video resume or not, you're thinking about what's this video for and who is your audience. And that's the first question you should ask yourself. So creating a really general video resume, like might get you a few views, might get you a few connections, it probably won't get you a job. From my perspective. So if you're creating a specific video for specific company for specific position you wanna receive, I think that will be more powerful than creating a general video resume. That's from my point of view. But saying that, I haven't looked for a job myself for like 8 years. So I no idea what's happening in the recruitment market at the moment. But from the experience with personal branding and from my clients, what I see, it's all about bringing your personality and connecting online and networking online. Video is a communication tool to network online and communicate your values and your personality to your connections, which is potentially bring you employment opportunities. So saying that, it's not about creating this one video resume, it's creating this video conversation with your target audience. So that's how I see this. And also maybe it's something like sending personalized video for potential employers. Like if you already know that I really want to work for this company, and the message really tailored to this company, that's like, it's my dream job, and that's particularly what I want to do, and that's the reason why I want to do it. So I see it more this way. So yes, you can create this one-off video resume, but I don't think you can rely on it as something that will bring you a job.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Naish?
I think Praful, let me first say, when I think I watched your video probably, and that's how it connected with you. You may not remember, but I had that video stored on my bookmark, and I shared that with number of people, and I think there is a great value in having a video presence. What I wanted to ask you, Praful, is around what inhibitions or what kind of personal, I don't know, demons is the right word, but personal, misconceptions or things like that you had to really overcome, and to be able to do that. And because that's one of the thing, right? Before we started to come on live, we briefly spoke about, having an idea, is remarkable, right? That you have an idea, but to execute is what makes a hell of a difference. And you executed that. That's what I really find it absolutely courageous for you to execute that. So can you help us understand a couple of things? One is what kind of inhibitions, personal inhibitions, that you had to deal with, and secondly, what about the content? How did you work out that this is what I want to say and this is I don't want to say?
Yeah. Oh, really? Good question. Never been asked that before. Well, my real challenge was when I was editing it, not filming. Because when I was filming, I was in India. I had access to location. My cousin has a beautiful office. My friend who was supporting with the shooting. With the content, the text, I've been a storyteller through visual medium, never really indulged myself in writing a script. But this was one challenge which I overcome, I think, quite well, because it was my life story. And who better could tell it if not me? And because I think that I have good communication skills, whether it's listening, writing, speaking, it was time to put that on paper. So it's just my story. I just put it down. I've done this, I've done that, and then a few grammar corrections, spellings, use of better words, vocabulary, building that up, spending 2 days just doing that, taking help of friends, as I said before, because that's really important. You need people who can criticize what you've done so that you can do better. And then the real challenge was public perception after I started editing the video, not completed yet, because I started asking people, and if I'm making a video, definitely I'm making it for someone else to watch. And if no one around me is giving me a positive vibe about will it be worth watching, how do I just continue doing that? Because it takes a lot of time editing a video. You have to think about things. The first cut was over 6 minutes long. Then you have to cut relevant parts, do the transition. There's a lot of variables involved. So that was my major challenge. Knowing that the public perception could be negative, or no one would care about the video at all, but still being motivated enough to just finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes courage to put yourself out there on video. Well, I think people initially, when LinkedIn came out about 10 years ago, it's like, oh, why should I have a LinkedIn profile? I don't want to put anything out there. And we've gotten over that largely, and photos on resumes, I think. But, the idea of exposing yourself on a video, a lot of my clients, when there's been a video request for an application, have gone, oh, no, I can't. The video itself, puts me off, which was where I should refer them to you, Yana, is for a bit more confidence and presence and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it does take courage. And just go back to what you were saying about the reaction and what you mentioned, Yana. I wonder whether it's a thing that a video might have, like the first one is just general connect with you as a person. The second one, maybe you've had an interview and that you're giving a small presentation on how you might solve the key problem that's around that job, you know, or the value that you could specifically deliver. Now you know a bit more about the job as a follow-up. Or, you know, you find out about the issues that the company has and you've got 3 possible solutions in that video. That might be, you know, have some power as a follow-up tool as well. I think that you've gone the extra effort and you've thought about the problem and you've presented it in a very appealing way. And I would respond to that if I was recruiting, because not a lot of people, you know, they send a follow-up message saying thank you, but that's great, you know. You want to know what people have thought about the job or thought about the problems and thought about the contribution, and that would probably have a lot of impact. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Like for me, it's all coming back to the strategy. Because for me, it's all coming back. It's not one-off video that you create and trying to jam everything in one video. That this time's gone. The time that you shoot like one TV commercial and repeating it like 100 times per day and AFL breaks, this time is gone. Yeah. So we can't just create one amazing video and rely that it will get you result. So these times it's all about creating the strategy around your content and, you know, like thinking who is this content for, and if you're looking for a job, creating the content that really relates to your potential employees. So I think the keys here is actually creating the story, not just one-off video, one-off content or one-off application.
Well, I agree with Yana, especially the way I see my future if I do something in the future. But if you consider someone who's looking for entry-level role, and the market is really wide, there are endless companies working in construction. I have a construction background, Yana, working in construction, and I want an entry-level position which is not very specific, which is not supposed to be specific. So that's why I just made a generic one. And although there were 2 companies which I came across during job applications, which made it compulsory for them to for the candidate to have 1 minute video about why you want to join the company. So for those, definitely I did make specific videos. But then for others, just to introduce myself, that hey, I'm this, I'm that, I've done this, that. Just give me an opportunity to interview face to face. That was the purpose.
Yeah,
I think if I can, you know, because we just got a comment from somebody, and someone said that she's just created a video resume today, and this is going to help her to further improve. So that's really awesome. What I want to touch on is you said, Praful, that you kind of created, it's your own story and you created, but the challenge is, since it's your own story, you can actually go more than 10 minutes, not in 3 minutes, right? So easily you can do it, but you must have controlled yourself, or must have calibrated. No, I don't want to go and talk about other things, but still continue to stay on my message. Because when we did the Australia's Got Fresh Talent program, we had somebody from 20 years of experience, and when we start to look at how do we compress his work history in 3 to 3.5 minutes, was a mind-boggling challenge for us, right? So what we had to do is to cut off so many things which is not relevant to the role, and that's what I'm talking about. So I think, Yana, that's the question for you. Is you touched upon the strategy part, but how do you really sort of control of, do I say this, do I not say this? How do are there any tools available for people where they can create like a storyboard or something? What are your thoughts on how do the people start to write the content, because that is extremely important?
I'm gonna answer this question quite broad, because for me, so the first thing to start is starting with your values. You really need to understand what you stand for. Then you understand what you stand for. There is no such a question of should I say this or I shouldn't say that. This question just cancel itself. Then you really know what's your values, what's your mission, what you're trying to achieve, and who you're talking with. So that's kind of question eliminate itself. Because if we think about it, like if for example, suddenly in your life, everything that you ever said right to someone or something became public, how would you feel if it's all became suddenly public all your life? Would you feel would you feel embarrassed? Would you feel something? But if you feel embarrassed if it became public, why did you say it not in public? um I mean, that's I think that's a question to ask yourself sometimes. And I think that you really like true to yourself and know what you stand for. The question of what I should say and what I shouldn't say kind of eliminating yourself. But then that's if it's a we asking like answering globally. But then we coming back to the audience again, because there is a you need to know your kind of borders. If being open and honest doesn't mean that just spew all information to everyone around you. Yeah. So it's about being authentic. It's about understanding what to say, when to say it, and who to say it to. So, and we need to really think about, like, again, who is your audience and what they need to know in this situation, like what sort of message they want to hear and how you want to be perceived. Then you communicate this message. So I think it's important. It's important to think about your values. It's important to think what you're passionate about, and stick to few topics. Yeah. So if you're creating some sort of content or video resume, pick a few themes. Yeah, don't go too broad. Pick like 3-4 themes that you really wanted to discuss and create content around that. Actually, it is sometimes really tricky to go narrow, but as more narrow you go, as more success you will get with your message.
Right. So true. That's a very good point, Yana. Thinking more about the audience, being audience centric, and then planning your content. In my case, because I knew that I would be doing the editing, so I shot even if I was confused. So if I was, hey, should I do this? Should I not? I did it. And then I really invested a lot of time. Sometimes it's about repetitions that, okay, information one, information two, information three. Then you have to decide this is the least priority. Check it out. That was my process, investing a lot of time thinking really critical about yourself, about what you've done, and then choosing the best part relevant to the audience, in which in my case was an open Australia-wide market of job market.
I really like the fact that you put your hobbies in there. Again, like if you look at a paper-based resume, you see somebody's hobbies and they have no resonance. But, even the fact that you said that you like Sudoku, when you said that, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I love Sudoku. I'm a nerd. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a way of really visually, like, connecting with you on a real meaningful level as well. You're not just sort of this cut and dry engineer. You've got some, and also some hobbies that are different from the average engineer as well. I don't know anybody or my engineering friends that do Bollywood dancing, or I think that's kind of like around cultural fit. So in the right firm, people will go, we'd love to have you around. You'd be a great person to go out for a drink with on a Friday night or whatever, or at the Christmas party, or sorry, you're going to say something?
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of recruiter I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hobbies. Yes, I think they're important because, for example, right now I'm doing photography, video, visual stuff. So everything else I do, it comes with a layer of for creativity over it. And if I can show that in my profile, that hey, hire me because I'm not just an engineer with a degree, but I can do creative, so that I can offer creative solutions in the future. If that impresses someone, that's where my interest would lie and reciprocate. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Someone who he had another experience when I was showing the video to someone, like he was sitting in front of me. I was in the middle of a internship interview where I saw things are not going the way I want. And then I just asked him to stop everything. That, hey, can I just ask 4 minutes of your undivided attention?
Yeah.
He made a face, but then he gave me the opportunity. I said, I'm not going to say anything. Just watch this video of mine. And this is me sitting in front of him. We've already spoken for 15, 20 minutes, and I've seen things not going my way.
Yeah.
And then he saw, and he stopped at the place where I'm talking about, hey, I like to play basketball. And he was so engaged in the video, he paused there and he told me, hey, even I play basketball. Which position do you play? I said, I play defense. So The thing you mentioned about Sudoku, I've had similar experiences with people relating themselves to what I've done, which I think helps me make a better connection.
Yeah, I think it
And
does.
that's, and we're coming back to this, we see it in everywhere on social media these days. And, people always questioning, like, what is personal branding and things like this. I think it's really clear at the moment that there is no such a thing like creating this avatar online anymore. If before we often created, someone else online, put like a super pretty picture there and, like make sure that all content is really like perfect and clean. No one expecting this anymore. People want to see online real people as well. And we relate to these things. We relate to the hobbies. We relate to personalities. And I hear so many times people still have this resistance. Do I really need to put my personal things online? The answer is yes. Don't go nuts and post like picture what I have for lunch every day. There is a specific audience for that, if you're foodie on Instagram or something. But if you're on LinkedIn, incorporating this personal stuff is really important to create these human connections to a certain degree. As I said, like think about your audience. Don't spam them with picture of your kids every day. Yeah, but make sure it's incorporated in your overall strategy, because you never know. Then someone say like, hey, I love basketball as well, or like I like Sudoku as well. So you never know. These things, these little things can create more trust than all the engineering experience that you did before.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
Right. Yeah.
Agree. If I can, sort of, KB, I also wanted to sort of, pick up, your thinking around it. It's absolutely ironical and paradoxical in a way that we are asking people to stand out from the crowd, but people who stand out from the crowd are not really rewarded. And I'm pretty sure I'll probably, ask Praful, and then KB and then Yana is around the, that we are, I think in Australia there's a, the tall poppy syndrome. But specifically, if you look at it in the context of this, we, recruiters, that we have spoken to so many people, we have spoken to talent acquisition specialists, everybody says stand out. Hey, now he is a person who is stood out from everyone else, got 11,000 views, and just the kind of beginning of it. But he's exceptionally talented in what he does. It's not that he's creating a false persona or a facade. Underneath, there is no substance. No, he has substance. He's done masters, right? In Germany, he's done research and everything else, and plus he's creative, right? So Praful, if I, because that's what really baffles me. Then people will continue to demonstrate mediocrity, or continue to do the same resume or same approach over and over again if the employment market is not rewarding them, is not acknowledging their creativity, and say, what, hang on, Praful, why don't we catch up for a coffee? I just want to understand from you. I don't guarantee you anything, but I want to understand, what you have done. So Praful, if we can start from you, about how many real interviews you had out of it, and or request for interview or request for meeting that you had, and then KB, if you can sort of sort of dismantle for us, or put some of your views around this idea, the paradoxical nature of this.
Well, thank you, Nishat, for allowing me to be so open about this, because I think really this is the issue which needs to be addressed, especially with the young job seekers out there. There is a phase in the Australian job market. I've never heard this phase before I came to Australia, and I really hate it. It's called local experience. And because of this one word, the amount of interviews I've had directly or indirectly because of this video resume is less than 5. People come, people watch it, people appreciate, but I mean, let's say this is the construction industry last year. It was not doing well. A lot of Australian job market depends on the construction industry, and the housing sector especially was not doing well at all. There was the only money in the public sector projects, the government, central government, and the state governments. So there was a huge issue with the supply and demand. Definitely, if you're getting someone for the same wage, with 2 years of experience or 1 year of experience. Why would I go around and hire someone who's just come from overseas? I think that's the mentality of most of the recruiters. I think because they know the ball is in their court and there is a serious issue with demand and supply. So for me, I think that's the reason why it didn't turn out the way it could have, especially with the continuous mention of the word out of the box thinking, do creative, do different, be different. I think it's something, just double standards there. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, no, I think it's been for ever since I've been involved in coaching, but recruiting, it's that no local experience thing does come up, but it tends to come up but having said that, there's been dozens of people that Naish and I have worked with that haven't had local experience that have gotten jobs. And it has been around not like if you apply online, it's very hard to stand out. And typically, when you get here, you apply on Seek and you get that feedback from people. But when you are in front of people and when you network, you do get more opportunities because people see you as a real person. And I've worked, and I know Naish has worked with dozens of people that have helped them get around that. I think it's that there is this thing around worrying about communication skills and cultural fit, but that's where a medium like a video can help with that, because that's what struck me. And we can see from your video that you're not Australian, but you're relatable. Do you know what I mean? You see you as a full person. But the local experience bit, it is around that fear factor of who are we bringing into the company. But it's people do get jobs without that. It does take longer for a lot of people, but a lot of sort of the stuff that Nisha has done with Australia's Got Fresh Talent, where people are pitching, a lot of the networking stuff that, where I with my clients, I get people to reach out to people who've gone down that path before that are working, that's uncovered jobs as well. But in Australia, yeah, definitely. And that's why I was interested when you said that you'd had responses from overseas around that video, and maybe that, maybe that is a characteristic of our market, I suppose, being an island and being a bit more conservative as well. So, but no, she said, what was the question you wanted me to cover? Was around that.
So I just wanted to understand, it's paradoxical, in nature, right? If you go to any career practitioners or any of the, talent acquisition specialists or anybody that we have spoken to, we are looking for somebody who stands out, right? We are looking for this. Hey, but when somebody stands out, you don't really reward that person. You don't acknowledge that this person really stood out. You're not, and I'm not talking about individuals. What I'm talking about collectively, right? Praful has been looking for work with these video resumes and everything else. I think probably for around 6 months. He had around 5, interactions of people who wanting to meet him for interviews, right? That itself, in thousands of jobs being created for civil engineers, there is drop of an ocean, in an ocean. So that's what I'm coming at. So are we really afraid of this creativity? And also, Yana, because you also work with many people who are trying to showcase their personality or their brand online, and I'm pretty sure they would also face similar challenges. So if KB, if I can ask you to sort of put your thoughts around as a society, in Australian employment, collectively, are we not rewarding these guys?
I think we say we like innovation, don't we? We say that we want innovation and groundbreaking. Like every job ad you read is like, needs to be innovative, entrepreneurial, da-da-da-da-da. But I think it's innovation and entrepreneurial and standing out within that context. So if somebody's way too out there, we're a bit we're all sort of pack animals. We're a bit threatened by it. So I think stand out, but kind of stand out in the context of what we want you to do is stand out in that role versus stand out as, wearing red when everybody else is wearing white, because we do find that threatening. So out of the box thinking, it means different things to different audiences, and it's what bit of the out of the box is appealing, I think. We do get threatened.
I totally agree. It all depends of we're coming back to the audience. Yeah. So you can stand out in one audience and you completely not, you can be completely the same person, but don't stand out in a different audience. Yeah. So it's again, it really depends, if I'm looking for the modeling job, I'm not standing out. I'm just, another blonde with blue eyes. But if I'm looking for, I don't know, like, DevOps engineering position, and and I'm coming in the high heels in the in the interview, I probably stand out. So it's really it's really depends of your audience as well. And I think it's like online, it's definitely easier to stand out, but it again depends. Are you unique around which people? Yeah. So your uniqueness is subjective as well. And I think that's important thing to understand. So we can stand out different ways, but it's again depends on your audience and depends on the purpose where where we're trying to stand out. I do think that it is rewarding if you find this point of difference. And if you can stand out, it is rewarding. In online world, 100%.
I think if you're flying the flag in a way like you are, Praful, of doing something different, you're showing courage, and people will catch up to that. It is like going back to 10 years ago when people said, I don't want to be on LinkedIn. Why should I put my stuff out there? And then there was this critical mass. And I think the right people will recognize, the right organization that's looking for somebody will recognize that in you and what you've done. I think it will make a difference.
And as you mentioned before, that people might be, then if something is different, people might be a bit worried and a bit scared, and that's normal. It's just a normal evolutionary thing. It's called me exposure. As more we expose to something, as more we're familiar with that, as more we like it. That's the me exposure. It's actually basic for all the discrimination we have in the life in general. We more trust people from the same nationality. We more trust people, that's similar to us. It's embedded in us evolutionarily. So that's why as soon as someone stands out, we do feel a bit of the worried, a bit of this feeling of less trust in the beginning. That's why it does take courage to stand out in the beginning, but then you prove your point. If you true to yourself, then it will be rewarded at the end.
That's what keeps me going. I'll share a small instance. Someone I know who works in Australia, studied and worked here 2 years now. He commented positively on my video and then called me and then tells me, bro, your video is good. I really liked it. It's out of the box, blah, blah, blah. But in Australia, some people might think it could be too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true. That's the confusion. That's the question.
As in your skills and qualifications of the whole video, or just
I mean, I might have faked something. He meant I might have not traveled so much as I've mentioned about. I might not be doing all those stage activities or whatever I'm doing, and just wrote it there like that. I mean, how can one person be? I mean, I don't know.
That multi-talented.
If I can, I think one of the biggest challenges.
It's because it's one person's reaction.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenge with video resumes, and I have had a lot of questions being asked on this even before, is that whether to get the right audience to watch is the biggest challenge here. Maybe out of 11,000 views that you had, and thousands of people who watched it, I am not sure whether it really reached the person that you were looking to reach out to, because LinkedIn ultimately is a platform that you could be viral for 1 or 2 days, and those people who you want to reach out to, big builders or big civilian construction companies, and you're not even part of the LinkedIn network, or you're not connected with them, and they may log in after a month or after a week, and it may not even show up on their
feed,
news feed. So that's one of the one of the challenge that I see this year, and it is absolutely not at all discounting the amazing work that you have done, Praful. I'm absolutely clear on that part, right? And I also commend you that it is okay for you to show your creativity. In fact, when we started to and I started to talk about Australia's got fresh talent, not many people believed that this is a real thing, right? That even those people who were participating did not believe that this is going to happen, right? And we will have enough people to attend, but ultimately there were people, and the people have also got jobs out of it. So that's one comment. Another comment is we've got some, Pavi here, our talent acquisition specialist. She was here, and she says that she
Yesterday,
also
yeah.
has done video cover letters. It worked. So it's a kind of thumbs up that it is possible for you to have this. The question that I had, and then I'll probably answer this question: the acceptable length of the video. My thinking is don't go beyond 3 to 3.5 minutes, because you will lose a lot of things. Praful, did you put any sort of subtitles or captions into the video?
Well, not on LinkedIn. No, no. But in future, I intend to put it on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I intend to put it there, and then definitely I'll be putting subtitles because when I was publishing it, I just wanted to focus on Australian market. And why do I need subtitles? I had reason to believe that my English is clear and I can be heard.
Maybe translate it into Australian, mate. It's like as if put an O on the end of it.
Good, I mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
But
excellent. So we are coming to an end. Are there any other things that Praful, you want our listeners to be aware of? And then Yana, are there any other things that you want our listeners to do if they are planning to create a video resume? Praful.
So I would say that because also now most of us are at home in the lockdown or whatever reasons. If you have a hobby, I think it should also reflect on your personality. Not that I got what I wanted, but I still stand firm with the decision that I decided to make a video and it's still on my profile and people are talking about it. For example, if you're a writer, if under the hobbies section or the achievement section, if you have something written that I won this is award or something like that, if I am a recruiter, if in future something like that, if I have to judge someone, if someone says that he or she is a writer, I want to go and see articles on his LinkedIn profile which directly reflects what he's written. So in my case, it was photography, videography, and the video I did. And to everyone who's watching us now or in the future, if you have a hobby, now is a good time, and also for future to reflect that with an example on your profile directly rather than on some other platform.
For me, I think, yeah, definitely keep it short. I think we need to remember that recruiters time poor. Keep it short, and you'll be surprised how many things you can say in 2 minutes if you keep it precise. It's amazing. Like I stick to all my videos under 90 seconds usually, and the one message, one audience, one action that I want to get from people. So obviously try to make it as short as possible. And I think the point of the video resume is not talking about your whole experience in there, but pinpointing the important things and showing your personality. I think if you're really worried about what things to take out and what things to put in, I think it's about concentrating on the highlights, something that maybe recruiter highlight and they looking through resume. I think that's what needs to be in your video, but not necessary all the experience you had. So it need to be something that make I believe it's something that need to make the recruiters' life easier, so they in this short whatever under 3 minutes they understand a little bit about you without going in the millions of details, because if they want to get the details they go and read it in the resume anyway. So it's kind of the showing that like highlights, like a show reel, that the main points and your passions and your personality. And there's a Praful say, like mentioning something you're passionate about. I think that's a key. And I do believe that video obviously help us to communicate who we are much easier than the written content, because we all know how when we read something, we can interpretation can be so different from everyone. It actually depends what emotional state you're in when you're reading something. How many times, your wife or your husband send you a message and you read it completely different because you already been like so pissed off, and then this message and then you reading it next day, and it's like, it actually was a kind of nice message, but you read it completely different. I think we've all been there. Never break up with anyone by SMS, not bullshit. And that's the same thing. The written content, interpretation can be so different. So that's why I guess that's the power of the video, having this piece of the content that really communicate who you are with your intonation, with your emotions, with your confidence.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent. Caroline, anything that you want us to leave with and ask people can they continue to receive our updates?
Just want to say thank you to you both for your input, Yana and Praful, for showing what can be done and what kind of response you can get and putting yourself out there. And if anybody's looking for a very talented engineer, you know where to find one. So
this way. No, this way.
Thank you for the advertisement.
Oh yeah. The sharp pointing wrong way too.
And if you want to subscribe and get daily notifications of what we're talking about, I'll put the link in the comments. You'll get a daily email saying who we've got and why we're showing and what you can get out of it. And we're going to continue doing these until I'm not sure when. So certainly for the next month or so. It's been a great joy to be able to meet with fantastic people and also connect with everybody on LinkedIn as well. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Excellent.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Praful and Yana, for being generous, generously sharing, your insights into this. Tomorrow we'll be back again. Tomorrow is an open house. That means you can ask me and Caroline any questions except our bank account details. And we'll be more than happy to answer those questions. So please do tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. Bring your questions. We are going to talk about job search, resume, LinkedIn, COVID-19, what goes on in our head, how my home office looks like, how am I doing homeschooling, staying in India. Any questions that you have, please tune in, and we'll look forward to meeting you tomorrow. Until I see you tomorrow, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay indoors, everyone, please. Thank you very much. See you later.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice.